It has been a minute since our last Elder Scrolls 6 update video, and I know exactly how passionate my community is about this game. Trust me, I read every single comment on every single video, and including that last video, I get it. You guys were fired up, especially about the great ship debate. And honestly, the community seems split right down the middle on whether naval gameplay belongs in Elder Scrolls 6. So today, we're going to dive into that. No pun intended there. But first, stick around because I've got something big to tease here. There are credible rumblings of a secret Elder Scrolls 6 trailer floating around behind closed doors at Microsoft. If it's true, we could be getting close to getting our first real look at this game, and it might be coming sooner than we talk. We're going to talk about all that. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. Drop a like. Make sure you're subscribed. Today, it's all Elder Scrolls 6. We're going to cover everything. New leaks, fresh rumors, reputable sources, a couple of intriguing fan theories. I have been snooping around Reddit some, and all the official information we know so far. Also going to respond to some of your feedback from the last video. Like I said, I hear you loud and clear about the ships. Now, as we always like to start out, the confirmations, the official updates, and the development progress. Let's start off with the official stuff. What Bethesda has actually said, which admittedly, it's not a lot. Now, the concrete developments we know about Elder Scrolls 6. Bethesda has been unusually quiet about the game for years, but we have some reassurances. First off, Todd Howard himself has acknowledged this game. During the live stream reveal of the Oblivion Remastered earlier this year in April, Todd made a point to say, obviously, we're working on the 6th chapter here. Now, he didn't drop any title, no details, just that line. But that's confirmation. Yes, the next Elder Scrolls is in the works. It's comforting because what did we get, that teaser trailer back in 2018 or some crazy crap like 8 years ago? I mean, it's small. No, 7 years ago, I think. It was near silence. 7 years since the teaser. Whatever. Today's video is sponsored by the Pendragon Cycle Rise of the Merlin, and the new trailer just dropped, so let's react to it together. I'm a huge sucker for anything medieval, especially when it's in the Arthurian legend vein. I mean, come on. They had me at Rise of the Merlin. So we've got King Arthur on his rise. We've got a young Merlin, and I'm always looking for quality, like stuff like this with these type of shows. Could it be on the big screen? And this looks really good. Outfits, all of everything they're wearing, the cinematic, the battle sequences. You want it to feel like it's on a large scale, even if it's a TV show and not on the big screen at a movie theater. This looks like that. Okay. All right. I'm in.
The Pendragon Cycle, Rise of the Merlin.
The Pendragon Cycle Rise of the Merlin, based on the novels by Stephen R. Lawhead, premieres exclusively on Daily Wire Plus January 22nd, 2026. Click the link below to go watch the trailer right now. I'll take anything I can get, right? The team loves the series, they're working on it, so let's positive vibes here. And the good news is the full development is happening. Bethesda has announced that Elder Scrolls 6 has officially left pre-production and is in active development. In fact, early builds of the game do exist, and they've been played internally by the team. That came out during the Elder Scrolls series 30th anniversary celebration. Bethesda actually teased that returning to the places and playing early builds had them filled with the same joy and excitement of adventure. So while all of us are looking from the outside in, there is a version of Elder Scrolls 6 floating around, up and running, behind closed doors, albeit extremely early one. It's there. Not something we can play, but it's moving forward. There's another concrete detail out there. Elder Scrolls 6 is running on a custom version of the Creation Engine 2. That is the same engine Bethesda built for Starfield, but they're not just reusing it as is. Todd Howard has said they're adding new tech to it. They're tailoring the engine for Elder Scrolls needs. According to one reputable insider, the engine is getting a major technical upgrade to support the game, possibly even eliminating the load screens between the areas for a more seamless world. Now, if that's true, that's a big deal. Imagine a Bethesda RPG where you can walk into cities or interiors with no loading, no pause, essentially overhauling the tech so it could handle whatever grand vision is that they have for Elder Scrolls 6. Todd even hinted in interviews that earlier this year they didn't even have the tech to do what they envisioned back then, which is part of why it's taking so long to make the game. So with Creation Engine 2 and new suites of technology, here we go. There's also a couple community-related developments. Bethesda held a charity auction where the highest bidder would get to be added to Elder Scrolls 6 as an NPC. That auction happened in early 2025. It was supporting the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and it turns out some anonymous mega fan ponied up $85,000 to win it. Someone paid $85,000 to get their character in the game. So I have to ask, how much would you guys pay? How much would you pay to appear in an Elder Scrolls game as an NPC? You let me know in the comments. I'm actually curious about how much a spot in that world is worth to you. But here's the kicker. The community that runs UESP, the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages, basically the biggest Elder Scrolls wiki, has also been trying to memorialize a beloved faning game. Bethesda actually agreed that if the UESP folks could match the $85K in charity fundraising, they'd also get to design a character with the devs. And they did it. They raised the money and got to create an NPC honoring a late Elder Scrolls community member. That's awesome. So we already know of at least 2 real-world people who will be immortalized as characters in Elder Scrolls 6. That's great for me. I love that. That just makes me smile. Speaking of that, you may have heard of Shirley Curry. Skyrim Grandma, the 87-year-old YouTuber, became famous for her Skyrim videos. She is confirmed to appear in Elder Scrolls 6 as an NPC. That one was actually promised by Bethesda back in 2019 after a fan petition. They scanned her with whatever their stuff, captured her likeness, and Shirley, she was happy about it. When you're wandering around Elder Scrolls 6, keep an eye out for a friendly old lady adventure, and that's going to be Shirley. So now, the big question. When do we get this game? When will it be released? Bethesda hasn't given a date, of course, but during that Microsoft FTC hearings back in 2023, there was a document that said 2026 or later is the release window. So emphasize or later. In fact, Microsoft's own people, Phil Spencer, commented that the game was likely 5 years away as of mid-2023. So that lines up with a 2028 release date. But there have been insiders saying 2027. Multiple industry insiders, like those at Insider Gaming and Phantom Wire, they're claiming Bethesda is internally aiming for late 2027 to launch Elder Scrolls 6. Even Games Radar analysts have leaned towards this. They're optimistic, and usually these optimisms don't end up, but there's so many of them corroborating it. I'm good with it. One thing we can rule out is 2026. We haven't seen a teaser nor a trailer. Bethesda typically doesn't drop a game less than a year after you get to see their full reveal. That's their style. So yeah, we're definitely not getting it in 2026, but we're going to lean on that 2027. And before we move on, will Elder Scrolls 6 be exclusive to Xbox or PC? Since Microsoft bought Bethesda, we could assume, yeah. In those same FTC case documents, Elder Scrolls 6 was listed as planned for Xbox and PC only at launch. Phil Spencer initially had strong comments about wanting Bethesda content first or best on Xbox, but things have gotten murkier. The Oblivion remaster came out on PlayStation 5. Microsoft has allowed some Bethesda titles, Deathloop, Ghostwire, the Indiana Jones game, to be on other platforms. So I don't know. We'll have to see if they debut it as exclusive. I hope they don't. Now, here's where the debate starts in my comment section. We'll start off with location and setting. Hammerfell or High Rock or both. Where are we going? Bethesda's teaser trailer back in 2018 was 36 seconds. But of course, everybody analyzed every frame, right? You had a rocky coastline, rolling hills, and then you had ruins in the distance. Very broad stroke scenery here. Todd Howard hinted that the teaser contained clues to the location. Come on. The earliest and most popular theory was High Rock. So that's the homeland of the Bretons. So why would we go there? Well, the trailer shows a lot of craggy mountains and what looks like a coastline with big rocks and maybe a castle on a hill in the distance. And High Rock in Elder Scrolls lore is the province of rolling hills. You have highlands, you have Gothic-style castles, think classic medieval fantasy. It's also on the coast. Has a region called, is it Iliac Bay? Some fans and even journalists, PC gamers for one, noted that the landscape in the teaser could resemble High Rock's terrain. High rocky landforms by the sea, it all fits. Plus, High Rock hasn't been the focus of a main Elder Scrolls game since way back. I think it was partially covered in Daggerfall, but that was ages ago, so it does make sense. But then, Bethesda dropped another clue a couple years later that shifted it all towards Hammerfell. On New Year's Eve going into 2021, the official Elder Scrolls Twitter account posted a cryptic greeting, transcribed the past and mapped the future. It included an image of a map of Skyrim and its surrounding regions with 3 candles placed on the map. One candle was on Skyrim, the past. One was on a book, maybe symbolizing the present or the recorded past. But one candle was way off to the southwest of Skyrim, right on the label for Hammerfell. Basically, it looked like they put a candle on Hammerfell on the map. And fans, they took it as a strong hint that Hammerfell is going to be a key location in Elder Scrolls 6. It's a desert homeland. You had the Red Guard, you had landscapes, dunes, grasslands, jungles, all of it. And the phrase map for the future with a candle on Hammerfell, that's a pretty on-the-nose deal as a tease. We'll see. So those are the theories, but my theory is we're going to get both. They neighbor each other. They're separated by the bay. In fact, another Easter egg surfaced in the trailer for Starfield, which was Bethesda's other RPG in 2023. There's a moment inside a spaceship where an object on the console has a tiny scratch or engraving that looks a lot like a map from Iliac Bay. That's the bay between High Rock and Hammerfell. I know it sounds crazy, but if you see the comparison images fans made, it's a very distinctive shape. That may be over-analysis, but I think we get them both. I really, really do. It's going to be the largest world we've had in Elder Scrolls, right? I think that just happens. Now, if I had to pick one, I'd put money on Hammerfell. I would, combined with part of High Rock. There's just too many hints stacking up for that. Plus, the lore of those regions has some very interesting conflict potential. You have the Breton kingdoms, the Redguard factions, political intrigue, all that good stuff. And another benefit, covering 2 provinces would let them bring a lot of variety in biomes and culture. So you imagine one part of the game where you're with knights and magicians, and then you're going to Hammerfell's coast. That'd be cool. What do you guys think? If you have to pick one, which one is it? Do you think we have a chance for both? Now, what all of you have waited for, the great ship debate. Let's talk about it. Come on. I mean, who was the insider? Leaker, Extra One, something like that. Shared a bunch of alleged details about Elder Scrolls 6, a lot of gaming news, all that. They picked it up, grains of salt, nothing confirmed. And the biggest one was naval travel and combat. Yeah, ships. According to the rumor, the game, which Extra Ones claims is codenamed Project Hammerfell, will let players build or customize ships and sail them, even engage in naval combat on the high sea. So think of it like you have a spaceship in Starfield that you can build and fly, except here it would be an actual seafaring ship on the ocean. And this would be a first for the Elder Scrolls series. We've never had drivable boats or anything in the main games, at least. I mean, we click a boat and we fast travel, but that's it. So this is a big one. I mean, when I first mentioned the ship rumor in a previous video, the comment section kind of exploded. It was wild because the response was mixed. In the first video I did, I saw the majority of you were against the idea of naval gameplay in Elder Scrolls. Comments like, we don't need Elder Scrolls turning into Assassin's Creed with boats, and concerns that it would distract from the core medieval fantasy. Then later I did a follow-up video, and I discussed ships again, after more rumors came out. And that time, most of you favored the idea of ships. I'm confused. It's like 2 completely different crowds of Elder Scrolls 6 fans saw each video. I think it just goes to show how split the fan base is. Half of you are like, give us pirate adventures on the bay. The other half are like, keep boats out of my Elder Scrolls. So what did the leak say? Well, according to Extra Ones, summarized by sites like Twisted Voxel, Elder Scrolls 6 World will include 12 or 13 major cities across Hammerfell and High Rock. Now, some of these cities are coastal on the islands, which makes sense if both provinces are in play. So to travel between them, players will be able to build and sail their own vessels. You could potentially outfit a ship, sail around islands along the coast, engage in naval battles with pirates or enemy factions on the water. Think of something akin to Assassin's Creed Black Flag or Odyssey's naval elements, but in the Elder Scrolls universe. Maybe more accurate? I don't know. Starfield lets you construct a spaceship and have space combat, so it's there. They have it, right? And then the other one that kind of pissed people off was settlement building. Kind of like Fallout 4 settlements or Starfield's outpost, ES6 may allow you to build and customize settlements, villages, or even fortresses. So claim a patch of land, construct your own little title or stronghold. According to this rumor, the system would be expanded, possibly more in-depth than Fallout 4's. It would fit the fantasy setting. Actually, I don't think you guys got mad about that. You got mad about procedurally generated things. I think that's what it was. And then freeform skills, progression, all that. The leak says the character progression will be completely freeform. So no rigid class system, which kind of isn't really surprising since Elder Scrolls usually lets you become whatever by doing whatever. But it does emphasize a more natural leveling where you improve your skills by using them, which is classic Elder Scrolls. And then magic melee combat. There's mention that both the magic system and the melee combat will see improvements, which I don't doubt. And we also talked about dragons. Yeah, dragons. There were rumors, including Extra One's info, about dragons playing a huge role in Elder Scrolls 6 story and world, potentially even more so than Skyrim. Skyrim was all about dragons, and you as Dragonborn. So if they bring them back, maybe they do something different with a twist. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think on that one. Regardless, it's going to be fun. We're going to get much smarter AI, NPC, crowds. They're all going to be dynamic, real-world events. All these games that are being built on these major platforms now, we're going to see such an advancement in how the crowds and the worlds actually react around you. And another thought, if we're sailing, do we get underwater exploration? Is there going to be underwater content? I mean, in Skyrim, I think underwater areas were there, but minimal. So if Elder Scrolls 6 fleshes out underwater exploration, I know there was underwater exploration in Odyssey and Assassin's Creed. I did it. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I don't think it's a must, to be honest with you. But yeah, I want to know about the great ship debate. I want to know about dragons, and I want to know about procedurally generated stuff and naval travel. What do you guys actually think about that? Is that cool? Or I'm curious to see how this goes. You guys let me know if you have any questions. I will definitely keep you posted if anything new breaks. I'll see you soon.